Hey everyone, welcome back to the series of structural design patterns, and today's topic is adapter design pattern. My name is Saptarshi and I am currently a senior Java developer. So in the next 10 minutes I am going to talk about adapter design pattern, and I'm gonna make sure that you are never gonna forget or misinterpret what an adapter design pattern is ever in your life. Okay, so that's a promise. So what is an adapter design pattern, and when you should be using it in your everyday work? So let's take a look at this particular image. So what this image is, there is a iPhone 4s charger, and say let's suppose that there is a client which is a iPhone 5s, and that client phone wants to use this 4s charger to charge his phone. Okay, so there are two things that need to be on your head when you're thinking about adapter pattern. The first thing is the adapter pattern means to retrofit an old code to support to a client which only supports a new code. Okay, so in our case this is a new code, the 8-pin charger, and the old code here is 30-pin, and there's a client which only supports this 8-pin charger, that is the new code, and for that it would be requiring an adapter. So that the job of this adapter would be to take an input of the old code and adapt it to a new code. Okay, that's the promise of adapter pattern. And so to do that, what I'm gonna need is I'm going to create a few classes to demonstrate what are the chargers and all, and then finally I'd be creating an adapter. So there would be a method called adapt, which would be taking a charger instance, and then it would be converting based on the need to a 30 pin to a 8 pin, and in the background everything would be done smoothly. Also, I have taken an example. I'd be using a particular exception in this case, which is going to be invalid charger exception. And the reason for taking this exception is whenever mistakenly you connect an old code without an adapter to a client which only supports a new code, there needs to be flagged a situation saying, okay, this particular operation is not supported. Okay, so let's go back to code, and here I'll create a new Java project, and I'll name that adapter pattern. Let's say finish. Then I have this src directory, and I let me um, delete if any existing codes are there. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new package, and I'll name that package as main.java. Alright, and in main.java the first thing I would be needing are a few interfaces. Okay, so the first interface would be a charger interface, and the second interface I'll need is a client phone interface. Alright, so what the client phone is going to be using a charger to connect. So that charger would be passed along. Okay, and if the charger is not supported, is going to throw invalid charger exception. That's the life of it. Okay, so this exception is not yet created, so I'm gonna need to create this particular exception here. So let's create this exception. So I'll be using the constructor method, and in the constructor method I'll be calling the super definition of it, that is the parent class constructor with a string. Okay, super with a string saying iPhone 5s does not support iPhone 4s charger. Alright, so I have a charger interface. Now what the charger interface should do is it should charge. Okay, so public string would be my choice of return type from here, because what I want is to give a message that a phone is getting charged. Okay, so now let's create a concrete class out of this charger. So it would be iPhone 4s charger, and it would be implementing the charger interface. And there would be one more thing that I should specify here. Let's not, the pin count needs to be specified. I'm thinking whether I should specify it in the interface or not, because both of the pin would be there. Okay, so let's specify. Let's specify a pin count method as well. So then I'd be needing to implement that method too here. Now I am going to create that integer here. So this is a 4s charger. So I'll be saying the pin count is 30, and I also need to create getters and setters for this. I will be creating the getters and setters, and get pin. So what is the pin count is going to be get pin count. All right, and what is the charge method? It should be very simple, to give a message, and that message would be charging from iPhone 4s charger, because this is the class. Okay, so I would be needing a similar implementation for iPhone 5s, so I'll go ahead and copy all of this here, and I'll create a new class called iPhone 5s charger. So though I haven't yet arrived at the point of creating an adapter, just bear with me for a few minutes. I first want to demonstrate that this does throw back an exception saying iPhone 5s client does not support iPhone 4s charger. So iPhone 5s is going to be 8 pin, and there it is, charging from iPhone 5s charger. So these are my two concrete classes of the charger interface. Now I have a client phone, so let's create a class which would be iPhone 5s iPhone 5s, and okay, this needs to implement client phone. Now this is going to be the definition of connect. Now what I need to mention here, whatever the charger is getting passed, so that charger should be only having a pin count of 8. It cannot have any other pin count than 8. Okay, so this would be my logic. If charger not equals null and charger dot pin count is not equals 8, then I'll be throwing an exception which is going to be invalid. Sorry, I missed the new keyword. Invalid charger exception. So being an iPhone 5s, whenever it wants to connect to a charger, that charger should have a pin count of 8. If it is not that, then I'll be throwing an invalid charger exception. Otherwise, I will charge. So what I'll say, charger dot charge. Okay, and it rather needs to be void because the string message is actually going to be coming from the charge method itself. Okay, so now I'd be creating first a demo application, a class that will essentially hold the main method. So I will need this main method, and I'll be creating a demo application. And in this, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create an iPhone 5s object. iPhone 5s is going to be a new iPhone 5s, and I'll be creating a iPhone 4s charger. Have I not created? Oh, I have mistakenly named it incorrectly. It should have been iPhone 4s. I'll need to rename the compilation unit in this case, and then we go back to iPhone 4s charger, and I will create an iPhone 4s charger which will be like this. Then the problem would be if I want to iPhone 4s 5s dot connect and then I pass a 4s charger. Well, it complains that I need to surround the code with a try catch block, so I would rather throw the declaration of invalid charger exception because I want to print it out to my console here. And let's say what happens if I run this class. What I'm expecting it to throw the message that I have created. You see, iPhone 5s does not support iPhone 4s charger, so that's going to be the problem. Now if I make it iPhone 5s, so let me go ahead and create another object of iPhone 5s charger. And if I pass this particular reference, then I should be getting a proper result saying charging from. Okay, so it did connect here and I did go to charge, and from here it did go to charge iPhone 5s charger, and it has returned me. Okay, it has returned. Okay, I did not print it out. Okay, so I'd rather say it here instead of so let's print it out again instead of returning it. No, not doing here. It's a void method. I am going to do this inside the 5s client. Okay, I am going to print out the output here in the console now, and I'll be seeing it says charging from iPhone 5s charger. Now the point is how we are going to create an adapter. So the adapter would be something like which would be taking a charger, and it will be just converting a 4s charger to a 5s charger, because from the image if we go back, so what was an adapter? See, it takes a iPhone 4s charger and it creates a new 5s charger. So that's how the adapter is going to be. So I'll create a new adapter here. iPhone 4s to 5s adapter, and whenever I am going to, I'll write an adapt method first. So this is going to be a void method. What it is gonna do, it is going to get reference of a charger. Okay, I'll first check if the charger is an iPhone 4s charger. If so, what I need to do is charger dot set pin count to, what should be the pin count set to? It should be 8, integer of value 8. Okay, and this adapt method should not give me void, it should give me a charger type. Okay, and then this particular charger is the one that I'm going to return. So I came with a charger, I got something modified in the charger. Okay, and then else, so rather I need to basically bring it outside, because in any condition I would be returning this charger back. So now what I'm going to do, instead of passing a 4s charger, okay, so one more thing, I should be getting this charger from a constructor. So let's say is a constructor and it has a private charger method, and then I will also get an old charger as a parameter to its constructor, and I'll be setting that to whatever the charger I have here, and then here instead of, okay, now somebody calls an adapt method. Okay, I would rather directly call adapt on the charger, and so I get a charger, I adapt the charger, modify the charger, and I modify the value here. So I'll be creating the constructor, getters and setters for the charger. So getters and setters are created here. I would not be needing this set method, I'd only need the get of it. Okay, and then I could have done otherwise by extending this adapter to a charger interface and then setting every other properties like that, but I want to make it in this way just for the sake of simplicity here. So iPhone 4s to 5s adapter, so I pass a 4s adapter and then I get the charger out of it. So now let's see what happens. Can I charge of iPhone 5s from a 4 using a 4s charger? Okay, yeah, see, my client is iPhone 5s and I had passed one iPhone 4s charger instance, and what the adapter did, it modified whatever the pin count was earlier there, it modified it to 8. So this adapter is doing nothing but the connection between the old code, that is the 4S adapter, to a new code which is a 5S adapter. So that's it about the coding part of it. So I'll quickly jump back to the presentation again to talk about one more thing, is what are the differences of this adapter pattern with a bridge. So you see, adapter pattern only comes into picture when we are retrofitting something. That means we already have a legacy code and we want to support that legacy code with a new code. Okay, but bridge is something which is created upfront. That is, it is part of the design thinking. So whenever I am talking about bridge, is something that I create, keep the same level of abstraction out, and I essentially modify the client and the implementation invariably, and they can be varied, I mean, independently of each other. But bridge is created upfront from the perspective of design thinking. It is done in such a way. Let's say, for example, what is done with the JDBC drivers. But adapter is something what comes into picture when we already have something developed, and now we are going to create some new things, and we are not having the access to modify the old code. In that case, to support our new code with the old code, we'll be using adapter. But that's not going to be something when we are going to design a new project or a new code, because to ideate the same thing, to vary client and the implementation in invariably, I mean, independently of each other, there would have to go with the bridge pattern. So there is a slight difference in both of the cases. And there is one more reason I was going to talk about. Let's say I could have used implements charger here, and could have directly used this particular object as a charger interface, but I didn't do that. Because it slightly touches the line of the decorator pattern. So there's a very little difference, that this particular implementation can be pivoted to a decorator pattern. Because in a decorator pattern, what happens, you pass in an object, and every level of decoration and the object structurally gets modified. Okay, so I'm going to talk about all those patterns later on the other videos of bridge patterns and decorator patterns, and then after that composite patterns and all. So uh, let's see, we'll come back. Thank you.